Afternoon, everyone. This is Nitya Ramachandra from the NR Sports Show. This is episode 793. I'm joined by a special guest, Joey Gathright. He's a former MLB outfielder. He played for the Tampa Bay Rays, Royals, Cubs, and the Red Sox, and he had a good career. And I'm really looking forward to this interview. And I just want to say, Joey, thank you for joining the show today. It's truly an honor. And how are you and your family doing so far?
Doing good, man. My little brother just stopped by, brought me some food, so it's always a positive day when that happens.
Yeah. So I want to start off with your childhood growing up, and before choosing baseball, did you play any other sports growing up, and do you have a role model in baseball that you looked up to?
Well, I played football and soccer when I was growing up. I moved a lot because my stepdad, we traveled when I was younger, so I lived in Texas and in New Orleans pretty much all through my middle school years. But yeah, played football and soccer, and my role model, I guess it was Griffey until I met him. Once you meet your superstars, man, you find out they are just as crazy as you are. It was fun meeting Griffey.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for you though, what was it? Take me through your process while you're working on your craft, and what are the main things that you learned as a player, a baseball player in high school and college? And did you get to play any other positions other than outfield?
Well, I was a shortstop pretty much my whole career, and then once I got drafted, I saw like most of the Dominican players that they had, like some of these guys were 17, 18, 19 years old, and they just looked way better than I was when I got drafted. Because in my high school, they didn't really teach us fundamentals at all. And so once I got to pro ball, seeing these guys, man, and they had one 18-year-old kid who threw like 97 across the diamond. So once they saw me not be as fundamentally sound as most of those guys, and then they saw me run, they just threw me in the outfield.
Well, so what were the main things that you learned as a player before in college before you got drafted? What was the main thing that you learned as a college player?
Well, I didn't really play college,
Okay.
so yeah, I went to a college for a semester and then ended up leaving and still got drafted that year. But like I said, like coming from like a high school that really didn't teach fundamentals, going into college and learning all those random fundamentals and like learning how to be an outfielder, learning, hitting and all that stuff. That was basically the main things I learned, but not too, I didn't spend too much time in college, so I really didn't learn too much. I basically went from high school to being an adult at 19, man.
Oh wow. Yeah, so take me back to your draft experience. Obviously, that's a fun time for all players and athletes. And what was it like being with your family, waiting for your name to get called? And once you got your name called, what was that feeling like getting the name called by Tampa Bay?
Oh, it's hard to explain that feeling, man. It was kind of cool, just sitting there and with your family. And my mom and my stepdad, they didn't know anything about the draft or baseball. My stepdad played football in high school or in college, and like he knew about that kind of draft. But baseball was just different. Like I was drafted in the 32nd round, man. So we waited for a while, and it was a great feeling. It's hard to describe. It's kind of like hard to describe that first major league call up. It's you can't describe it. My buddy, when he got his first major league call up, he cried. I cried too, man. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So what was a draft call like by Tampa Bay? Obviously, a great organization. They always develop great players, and they usually bring up. They usually they don't. They're not like the big free agent spenders. They just bring up talent in the minors. So what do you like? What did you like about the organization? And just take me back to the draft call first, and then what did you like about the organization?
Well, the draft call was it was pretty simple. Hey, we're gonna draft you coming up here in a second. To be prepared, and that's basically all that was. But that organization is pretty cool, man. Like I had Lou Piniella as a manager, man. So that was tough dealing with. Like my first big league game, like he yelled at me.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't expecting that. So having him as a manager and being in that organization at the time, Chuck Lamar, I think was the manager or the GM at the time. They were all cool, man. I love that organization.
So all right, so explain to me when you come up. So what did you learn as a player in the minors, and obviously when you got the call up? But just take me through your process into the minors, and what did you learn as a minor league player before you got the call up?
That it was a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that type of situation. I thought I was just going to show up, play baseball, and hopefully get drafted. Like, I'll tell you this, man, I didn't know anything about the baseball draft until my junior year of high school. So, I didn't even know you could be drafted out of high school. But I learned that it was a business, man, and it's kind of cutthroat. Like, I took somebody's position. Every level I went to, I took somebody's position, So, and it's very cutthroat, man. And that's just basically what it is. But I don't know, minor leagues was fun, but it is a business. That's the one thing I learned when I was going through the minor leagues.
Yeah, so now take me back to your call up. Where were you at that day when Tampa Bay decided to call you up and you had to pack your bags and go to Tampa? Where were you at the day, if you remember, and what was it feeling like about the call up?
I think I was in Middle Tennessee. I can't think of the name of that team, but we were in Orlando and we drove to West Tennessee. It was a 16-hour drive, man. So the second day I was there, that's when I got that call up. Cried a little bit, and yeah, and then like they call you and, hey, we're calling you up to the big leagues. You have that moment of emotions, and then, when do I need to be there? Well, you're going to be there tomorrow, so you're just rushing to get all your stuff packed and just drop and you fly out. And it was my first time, I think, on a first class flight and all that stuff, man. So that was fun.
So now when you walk into the clubhouse as a rookie and you see players like Jose Bautista, Melvin Upton, Johnny Gomes, Scott Kazmir, Carl Crawford, Rocco Baldelli, what are you saying in your mind right now? When you went,
I really didn't know what to say, man. Like the first person to ever come up to talk to me was Fred McGriff.
Oh, wow.
Because he was my first. So we had Fred McGriff and Tino Martinez on that team when I first got called up. Okay. Fred McGriff brought me my first suit. He took me out to dinner. That night I met Alex Rodriguez and Reggie Jackson.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a good first experience, man. And then you realize that, yeah, you're playing Major League Baseball, Like my first call up, we went to Japan and we played against the Yankees in Japan. So my first experience was kind of like different than most, but I enjoyed it, man. I really did. I've never been out of the country. I had to get a passport like within a week. It was a lot of stuff going on, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, obviously you got to learn from great players, and like you just said, Tino Martinez, and obviously the outfield depth was amazing for you guys because you were outfielder too. And what was it like just to be learning from Melvin Upton and Carl Crawford, two great outfielders with Johnny Gomes, and what was it like just being surrounded with them?
It was good. Like I said, I got called up pretty soon in my career, man. It only took me like 3 years to get called up, so I was still kind of new to being in the outfield. So learned from Carl. Carl was like one of my biggest guys to learn from because he was fast. He was bigger than I was, but he was fast. So he taught me how to roam in the outfield. They put me in center field. That's where he was playing before. And, he showed me how to navigate that, man. So him and Rocco, geez, that guy like is one hell of an athlete, dude. And people say, oh, white guys can't do that. That dude was probably one of the best athletes I've ever seen. And Josh Hamilton was probably the best athlete I've ever seen, baseball player-wise. But Rocco he was up to par with that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What was it like playing in the AL East? And obviously, I'm a big Yankee fan. And what was it? Obviously, you played with the Boston Red Sox too in your career. So what was it like experiencing two out of the 4 teams in the AL East and competing competing every year pretty much?
Yeah, when I was playing, man, the AL East was the league. The National League is come up now. Like the Braves are pretty good right now, but it was cool, man. Like playing against Boston, and once I finally got traded to Boston or signed to Boston, it was just different. But I don't know, it was just a lot of talent, man, back in the day, and I don't know, David Bautista is probably one of my best friends now, but it was different going to that team and experiencing that because the Boston Red Sox, speaking of walking to a locker room, man, that was walking into a locker room. Like they had Tech, Wakefield, Ortiz, Pedroia, Papelbon. Wow. That was different because I was with I was with Tampa, and then I was with Kansas City, and then Boston. Like that was like Tampa and Kansas City is a bunch of young guys still trying to figure out their careers. And then you go to Boston and it's like major leaguers, established major leaguers. So it was completely different. But as far as like playing in the AL East, it was a lot of talent back then. So it was tough, but it was fun.
Yeah, and obviously, who like for you, if no one knew about, all right, whoever doesn't know about Joey Gathright, obviously I know about you. I watched you throughout your career, and you played against us a lot, and you brought the speed element to the game, and you weren't the home run type of guy. You were like the slashy type of guy. I call you the Swiss Army knife, where you can help get runs in a simple way, like squeeze buns, stolen bases. So whoever didn't know about you, what else did you bring to the game?
Just the knowledge of the game, man. I was a student of the game, and I wish kids nowadays were kind of like that, but a lot of these kids are not. I don't know, that you pretty much summed it up, man. That's basically who I was. I was a slash hitter. As I got older, I learned how to actually hit for power, but for the most part of my 7+ years in the major leagues, man, I was just a slash hitter, just get on base, score runs, and that was it.
And for the next part here, I'm just curious. I want to know. This is a question I always like to ask because I had a lot of players on the show that moved to team, and for you, how did you take that? And obviously, it's a business, and you got to move from team to team eventually. But how did it go with your family, and how tough was it? Was it tough for you to transition from team to team, or was it easy?
It was well, for me it was easy because like I said, I was young and I was coming up, so I basically lived out of a suitcase for most of my career, man. At least I was in 2 years in Tampa. Well, I spent most of my time in Tampa, and then 2 years in city. Then after that, it was kind of like place to place. It was tough. It's tough on the family. My wife at the time, she didn't understand why we had to move or why I was getting traded and stuff like that. And then once we had our son, that's what really made it tough to have to move all of his stuff. And we had our home base in LA, but during the season we just, if somebody called and we had to get traded, we just had to pack up and leave.
So for you, looking back at your career, how grateful are you that you got to play the game that you loved, and obviously played with a lot of great players and great managers, and obviously you had a good career. So how grateful are you to be in this position right now?
Very, man. I mean, be able to play a game that you love, able to be set for life, I mean, you can't really complain when it comes to that, man. Hopefully, I don't know about everybody else, but hopefully, you put some of that money away and take care of yourself, make sure your kids are taken care of. But you can't complain about playing baseball and making a good amount of money, man. Like it's the best feeling in the world, and I really don't have anything else to say after that. It's great, to be honest with you.
Do you still miss do you still miss playing the game?
Yeah, man. Like I watch every time January comes around. You get that itch, like you want to go play. Like I have friends here, and I'm in Mississippi now. I have friends here, man. They want to like join their little random baseball leagues and stuff like that. But it's different, like because I know their talent level won't be the same that I'm used to. So it's just hard to like join those. But of course, I miss playing the game. I go to my buddy. He works at DBAT. I don't know if you know what DBAT is, but it's a baseball facility, probably one of the best in the world. And I go there all the time, man, and hit. He throws me pitches and stuff like that. So of course I miss it, but I know that I am too old to try to go back and play.
No comeback. Are we no comeback here for you?
No, man. My buddy, he asked me to, because he just turned 40. I just turned 40. He's like, because our kids have never like really seen us play now that they're older. He's like, man, let's just go and join an indie ball team and let's just try to play. I was like, dude, my body will not allow me to go back on the baseball field and play 6 months of baseball. It's just too much.
So for you though, obviously, what are your thoughts? So obviously you've been watching the game. So what are your thoughts so far on this MLB season, and which young outfielder do you like to watch now?
Young is Acuna. My favorite outfielder is Mike Trout. Yeah, but I've been watching and Shohei Ohtani. He's not an outfielder, but I love watching Shohei.
This
Yeah,
guy.
pitching too, but like I love watching him hit, man, because he's on fire right now. Him and Acuna. I think Acuna's coming back from injury right now, but yeah, like my favorite is Trout. My favorite young guy is Acuna.
Hmm. Did you ever, was there any, I don't know if there was any player back in the day, but for you, when you were playing, was there any type of player that was like Otani where he can pitch and bat at the same time?
I think there was a guy that we had in the minor leagues. He threw what's it, ambidextrous?
Oh, okay.
He, he threw 90 from the right and 88 from the left,
Oh,
and
wow.
he could hit too. I can't think of his name, man, but that was the only guy that I can think of.
Hmm.
And that's a talent in its own, man, to be able to throw both ways.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
you, so do you still keep in touch with your former teammates right now? The teammates that you play with, do you still keep in touch with?
Yeah, the two main guys that I talked to I didn't play with CC Sabathia, but like I keep in touch with him. We talk pretty much on a regular basis through text and random phone calls. And Milton Bradley, out of all people, crazy Milton.
Yeah. So for you, I know that obviously after your career, you transitioned to something else. And what have you been up to? And obviously you're big into fitness now. And I saw your fitness videos, and I'm big into fitness too. And what have you been up to, helping out kids, or what have you been up to?
Well, now I just started a job coaching for the Canes.
Okay.
Canes is like a national baseball team. They have kids from like 7 to 17.
Oh, wow.
We just worked out 3 15-year-old kids to try out for my national team. And these 15-year-old kids now are not like back in the day, man. Like they were, like we had one kid show up. He's like, I haven't thrown a baseball in 9 months. I was like, well, why are you here? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm doing. Like, so I have we have a national team and then the 15-year-old team. I coach the 15-year-old kids, and I'll be in Atlanta for the next month and a half, starting on June 4th. And yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, man. Just coaching these kids, making sure they're, the next level of kids are going to be some superstars.
Hmm. So what's it like seeing these young kids and now coaching them develop into their talent, and obviously you sharing your life experience as a player to them? What was that like?
It's pretty cool. Like you learn more about kids when some of these kids are not, they play baseball, but they're not into baseball. They have so many things going on, especially with the internet and all that stuff, man. So they're not into it like you want them to be. But the talent here I'll be honest with you, the talent here in Mississippi, out of all places, is pretty good. So you have some kids that are really into it. But for the most part, man, I don't know, I just enjoy being around them, coaching them, like my kid's getting older now. So like seeing him experience like certain things for the first time and being around other kids that love the game, because he loves baseball. I thought he was going to love soccer more than anything, but he loves baseball. So for him to be around that and be around other kids that actually like the game and want to be a part of it, it's pretty awesome.
Wow. Yeah. So now we do this fun little segment on the show called the Rapid Fire segment. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Favorite memorable game that you played in your career?
Yankees, Red Sox, when I robbed Jeter.
Oh, wow. Funniest teammate?
Ooh, man. David Ortiz.
What do you? All right. So let me ask you this: do you like this new? Extra innings rule?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, I do not. I don't know why people like it, but no, I don't.
All right. So let me ask you this: I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. So when you were playing back in the day and you were on first base, how often do you fool the pitchers when you were trying to steal?
How often do I fool them?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can fool the pitcher. I think it's more like trying to fool the first baseman, telling that you're not going to steal, and then you like take off randomly.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if most people don't know this. Like first basemen, they have a thing that they do when they're trying to get somebody to pick over. They hit their glove on their leg, and if it's not too loud, the pitcher can actually hear it. So if you have a lead that's too big, he'll hit the glove a couple times. But yeah, you can't fool the pitcher, but you can definitely fool the first baseman.
Toughest pitcher that you had to face?
Oh, there's two. Mariano and Mariano Rivera and Roy Halladay. I'm 0 for 20 something off of Mariano. He's broken 17 of my bats. I remember that. Roy Halladay, rest in peace. I was 0 for 20 against him until the last game I faced him when we were actually in Boston, and I got 2 hits.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
For you, I know that you're coaching the kids now, but down the line, would you consider being a hitting coach or a manager in the majors?
Oh, of course. I would love to manage a team, man. Obviously most of the managers now are like older, like in their 50s and 60s, but yeah, I would love to do that. That would be the ultimate job.
So, what are your thoughts on so far on your former teammate Rocco Baldelli as a manager so far in Minnesota?
He looks good, man. He looks good. It fits him. Rocco was like a journeyman, going through the league. He played and then he got sick, and he didn't know what he was going to do, and he was like an assistant in Tampa, and then he got that job. So I like it. He's so far so good.
So, what was the feeling like when you hit your first major league home run?
My first major league home run, it was an Oppo bomb, which still don't know how I did that against. I can't think of his name. I think it was Joe Pinero. Pinero, I think.
I had him on the show too.
Really?
Yeah.
So he was my first guy that I hit a home run off of. But it was cool. It's an Oppo bomb, so I was running thinking it was going to go off the wall, and then I got to second base, and the umpire was like this. He did it just like this. He was like. So I was shocked. He was shocked. Everybody else was shocked. But it was cool. It was a great feeling, man.
Yeah. So for you, what's it like just to have being a former athlete now, still staying active, working out, and how does it feel just to stay active as a former athlete?
Well, for me, man, look, I've had 2 surgeries here, 1 surgery here. I've had a surgery on my left leg or my right leg. So for me, it's basically staying active to stay in shape and make sure my body doesn't hurt anymore. I wish most guys would do that. Like now you see guys retire and they end up getting, a little bigger, and I just can't see myself doing that. I like being active. I like being able to move. I can't like hang out with my kid and coach my kid and run around all day if I'm, out of shape and out of weight. So I don't know. I just like staying in shape, man.
So
I always said that if I ever retire, I will not allow myself to get fat.
So there's a debate going around here somewhere. Who's a better pitcher in New York right now, Jacob deGrom or Garrett Cole?
Oof. I'm a big fan of deGrom.
Mm-hmm.
Cole is right now. He's hot, man. I know Bauer doesn't like him, but he's hot right now. So, but I'm still a big fan of deGrom.
So,
the Cy Young one is going to be this year.
I think it's going to be Garrett Cole.
Think so? I think so too. But yeah, I could see it because he's on fire, man. He's throwing 100, and his slider. I think it's a slider. His slider's moving right now, so I could see that happening too.
Our pitching staff is on a hot streak right now. Over, I think, 20 innings scoreless so far for the starters.
Real? Oh, so you're a big Yankees fan?
Yeah, because they've been throwing shutouts lately here. They won five in a row, and we started off slow, but now they're heating up, so it's good.
So is Judge. Did you see Judge over the last few games, dude?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of, let me ask you this. I'm just curious. This is a serious question because since you're a former outfielder and all these players getting massive contracts, what do you think about this massive contract situation? And would you give Judge like 8-9 year deal? Obviously, his injury history, or no? Because
no, I would give him like a 4-year. Well, now they're just throwing money away, so I would give him like a 4-year, $80 to $100 million deal. But because he's not like a Mike Trout. Like a Mike Trout, they could have given Mike Trout any amount. They could have given him a 10-year, $500 million deal because he's worth that. Because he is the best, to me, the best player in baseball right now.
Right.
But Judge, I don't know, he gets hurt too much. And same thing with Stanton, man. Like, they're always hurt for whatever reason. So I wouldn't give him like a massive long-term deal, but I'd definitely give him a deal.
Mm-hmm. So before sorry.
He's coming up. He's coming up. Yeah. So they got to give him something.
I think he has one more year left before free agency, I think.
and they need to keep him there, man, because he, some of the home runs he hits, they won't be out in most parts. So keep him there and just keep doing the Bronx Bomber thing.
Yeah, so I want to ask you about the AL Central. Obviously, you played in that division too with the Royals. And what do you like about that division evolving? With obviously the Royals are coming up, and the White Sox are playing well. Indians are always competing. What do you like about that division too?
What do I like? Let's see. Well, the travel, because it's everything's very close and it's not too far apart. But I don't know. I don't know. I really know how to answer that. I just like it. The White Sox right now, geez, they're on fire.
Yeah.
Tim Anderson, and I don't know this guy's name, but he's a chubbier type of dude. He's on fire too.
Mercedes.
Yes, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like as far as back in the day, man, I don't know. It's good travel. It was fun to play against all those guys, but I don't know. I really can't answer that question. I don't know how to answer that.
Right. So before we get to the last two things, I know you're close with Cece, and we've been trying to get Cece on the show too. If you don't mind, can you tell him about our show, if you don't mind?
Oh, 100%. I'll tell him as soon as I get off. I'm telling him I did an interview.
Yeah. So the last two things here, our team is part of this foundation called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. We're trying to help. He's a former NFL coach, and he's now offensive coordinator at Tennessee State with Eddie George. We're trying to help him prevent human trafficking and making sure the community stays safe and the kids stay safe, because human trafficking is so horrible out here, and it's crazy what I'm seeing. And we're really grateful to be part of this foundation. And I'll send you the page so you can go check it out.
Okay, definitely, man.
Yeah. And the last thing,
that is horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
Thank you for your service. Number one, keep doing the great job that you guys are doing, because it is rough out here now, especially with COVID, man. So thank you for your service. Mm-hmm. And if I can, my mom's a nurse.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My little sister just graduated from nursing school, man. So yeah, I'm a big part of that foundation family and whatever. But yeah, so thank you guys for your service. Keep doing a great job.
Wow, well said. And congrats to your sister. And tell your mom I said thank you for her service, by the way.
I will, man. She'll be here soon.
Yeah, but like I said, I just want to say thank you again for coming on the show. This wraps up episode 793 with former MLB outfielder Joey Gathright. Man, whoever's looking for a manager, please contact Joey, because this guy can make a good manager one day in the majors. A great player, and obviously go follow him on all social media formats. And he's now coaching, helping out kids with baseball too. But we would like to have you back as a returning guest so you can meet the full team eventually. My team has been busy lately, so hopefully soon you get to meet them. But you and your family stay safe, keep up the great work, and thank you again.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Man, I saw an interview with like 4 different camera angles. You were like, it was one guy
on Instagram. Yeah, thank you for that. That was what's his name? Brian Maxwell. He's fighting Chad Ochocinco in June. So
wait, what? Like I saw the title and I was like, no way he's fighting Chad.